Welcome into Raiders Gameday. The Raiders fall to 2-8 on Monday Night Football as they lose 33-16 to the Cowboys. I'm Amber Theoharis along with James Jones and Eric Allen. And, you know, this gets a little old. I know it gets old for Raiders fans to continue to watch some of the similar mistakes, the lack of productivity. But really, they were outmatched from pretty early on in this game as it got away. And George Pickens had a heck of a game against the secondary. I know we're going to break that down because we have a defensive back and a wide receiver up here. But let's start with you, James. What are your thoughts?
I ain't even got none right now, Amber. I mean, we was going out there, and I'm speaking from a offensive player. We was going out there against one of the worst defenses in the National Football League, and we let them look like they were one of the better defenses in the National Football League. And I don't mind the aggressive approach coming out and trying to throw the ball and get the ball to Brock Bowers, but at one point we have to get Ashton Denty going. This was a team that just gave up a first-round pick that they got from Micah to get Quinn Williams because they could not stop the run. And we did not run the ball. We did not give our offense a true chance. The only time we really tried to run the football was in second and long. That's not going to work. So offensively, I'm still sitting up here. What is it, week 11, 12?
Yeah.
It's 11.
And I still don't know
who
we want to be offensively. And that's the biggest problem for me.
Yeah. Well, this is our first test facing the type of wide receivers that are, you know, crafty, great route runners, contested at the high point, get it done. Obviously, Dak is very comfortable in layering balls to his receivers, have great confidence with those guys. Outside of that first series where they were on the bench, you know, we had some pretty good production there, but when those guys got back in, they really isolated. We'll talk about this later on, but from a defensive standpoint, this football team was successful on first downs, Raiders-wise, defensively, leading up to this game. If you can't get the Cowboys in third and long, I mean, Max is being wasted. Kuntz is being wasted. You never have opportunity to get after these guys. So defensively, they just kind of dominated us from the very first snap.
Yeah, this was a top four offense, to be fair, that the Raiders were going up against. The problem was it was a 31st ranked defense and one of the worst run defenses, and not able to get, let's look at the stats, not able to get more than 27 yards on the ground. Rushing is difficult against one of the worst teams in the NFL against the run. But take a look at the red zone in the first. This is first half. They had 2 trips to the red zone, I believe, in the first quarter.
Yes.
How do you have a turnover at the 15-yard line? Max Crosby has a sack strip fumble. The Raiders get the ball at the 15, and you settle for 3. Again, you get in the red zone. They only got in the red zone one other time, by the way, in the second half. Quarterback pressures, 21 for the Cowboys. They were all over Geno Smith. That's just in the first half. I want to be clear about this. 3 sacks. Geno Smith didn't really have much of a chance. But also, too, I got to ask you about the game plan, JJ, from an offensive perspective. When you look at what happened in the first half, 4 carries versus 28 passes in the first half. Again, against one of the worst rushing defenses in the NFL.
Yeah, that's zero balance. And there's no offense in the National Football League that's going to come out and play football like that. I don't care if you got Aaron Rodgers, Patrick Mahomes, Tom Brady. It don't matter. You're not going to play football like that. You have to be balanced. The Raiders were not balanced at all. And then not only that, we come out, Max Crosby gets a takeaway.
Yeah.
Those is the type of times you have to score a touchdown so we can put him in pass situations so we can pin his ears back and go get the quarterback. But we can't find ways to score. But offensively, when you talk about being lopsided like that, that's easy for an offense. And it's not going to sustain. You are not going to sustain drives if you're calling 20-something passes to 6 runs. It's not going to happen. We have to get more balance. Why draft a running back? I'm still trying to figure it out. Why draft Ashton Denty that high and you're not going to run him?
And this is the perfect situation tonight with the defense that, allowed a lot of guys to have some good days against them. My thing is the red zone, though. I mean, we're in week 11. You need to have a red zone package that is able to get you some touchdowns. I mean, you can't score field goals and attempt field goals in the red zone. We're a football team that if you get a turnover and you're in the red zone, you have to find a way with your personnel to get touchdowns. And that's really what's going on. Because if you don't, now the Dallas Cowboys, you drive down the field and now all of a sudden we're behind. you have to be able to dictate to defenses in the red zone. And without running the football effectively, it just really takes a lot of your opportunities away.
You talked about command. You know, Dak Prescott, watching him and the command he had of the field. He's going, come on, come on, come on. You'd see him.
Yeah.
And you said, that's what we're lacking. We don't really have that. And they, again, one of the best quarterbacks in the NFL, having a great year this year. But for our offense, at one point in the, I believe it was the first quarter, no, I think it was the second quarter, second quarter had 17 straight pass attempps.
Yeah.
There was not one run.
Right.
And is it abandoning the run? Because look, Ashton Genty had one carry in the first quarter, which sounds terrible, but one carry, and he got absolutely stuffed. Is it like, okay, well, Quinnen Williams and them are coming, let's just try something else? It's almost like an abandonment too quickly.
Yeah, and I can understand if, obviously, Brock's playing at a high level. If we had other receivers who were also playing at a high level, I can understand that. 10, 11 throws. But we don't have that dynamic on our football team. We don't have someone, if Brock is getting doubled, who can take advantage of a one-on-one opportunity. So that's one of the reasons why it's just so important to establish the run so now you can take those shots downfield. But if you're lined up and abandon a run, coverage-wise, I can run cover 4 and some coverages that take away the deep balls and have to make Geno Smith have to go to a second and third option, and that's where you get the pressures that the Cowboys are giving our football team in the sack. So again, it goes back to trying to be a balanced football team, finding ways to utilize your running back who you drafted to be an impact in a game like this versus that defense.
I felt like today we did exactly what the Dallas Cowboys wanted us to do. The Dallas Cowboys are not a good defense. The Dallas Cowboys do not have a good pass rush.
Right.
We just showed the first half stats of 21 pressures and 3 sacks. What slows down a pass rush?
Yeah.
To keep passing?
Wow.
No, the run game slows down to hand the ball off, so now they got to play their rush lanes instead of just continuing to come after Geno Smith, but we just kept on play action passing like we've been running the ball. It's hard it's frustrating, and it's hard for me to sit up here because I know these coaches are more than capable and they know a lot of football. But we cannot, especially when we can't protect our quarterback, to sit back there and keep passing the ball and play action passing at that. Hand the ball off to slow their rush down and get number 2 going. This defense is not good on the run. We had extra days to prepare for this defense.
Yeah.
And we came out and said, you know what? The game plan should be to throw it 17 times in a row.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, the offensive line is obviously a major issue. No JPJ. Colton Miller continues to be out. You had Will Putnam in there, at times getting dominated. You had Jordan Meredith. I mean, Alex Kappa. It's tough to piece a line together when offense is already struggling, but
not to cut you off, Aaron, but you know what, though? We had Aaron Rodgers, one of the baddest men in the world.
Yeah.
The O-line would go crazy when we kept throwing the ball. No, for real, though. They're like, we're tired of pass setting and people rushing us. Run the dang ball so we can come off the ball and hit somebody. So you're not helping the offensive line neither if you just keep dropping back, passing the football and not running. You got to give them a chance. We ain't give them a chance.
I mean, is that game plan, or is that, like I said, again, just trying to make adjustments and almost abandoning what a good
that was
plan would
earlier.
be
That was early before the game got out of hand.
Well,
that's true. As we all know,
one carry in the first quarter. The game wasn't out of hand.
Out of hand, right?
It was not.
It red zone opportunities twice. So again, it goes back to what are you trying to do in practice that carries over that is successful? And you have to find a way to run the football. I mean, it's not that difficult. And I understand the line is banged up. That's why the zone running game became popular, because you don't have to have all-star linemen to be able to be effective. It's about spacing, and you allow the running back to choose his hole. Is he going to hit the A-gap? Is he going to bounce it outside or bend it back? So now you put that onus on the running back who's been capable of doing that. So it's not about the linemen having to be all-pro guys, all Madden guys, and you're pulling. That's what the zone run game is all about. It's about spacing. It's about I know where I need to be, and my running back's going to make the right decision to hit the right hole. So there's no excuse for not running the football.
Geno Smith threw the ball 42 times. I'm just reading that. He threw the ball 42 times, and he was sacked 4 times. You want to know how much Dak threw the ball? 33 times. An offense that scored 33 points. Look, I don't want to let the defense off either. The secondary got absolutely dominated, as our Hall of Fame defensive back can tell you. This was one of the first games where the Raiders were going up against true alpha #1 receivers, too. And George Pickens, who let me pull those up. 144 yards.
And a tink, too.
And a touchdown. Yeah, 144 yards. And CeeDee Lamb, he had 66 yards as well.
And a tink.
Yep. Yeah, so I mean, this is coming off a game where against the Broncos, Caillou Blu-Kelly had 2 receptions. We were feeling pretty good.
Played good football.
Yeah.
But it's the first time you face that team. And it has to be, when I say it has to be a team effort when you're going against guys like that. And you have to find a way to get the team in, obviously, in 3rd and long, so you can kind of get after the quarterback and rattle Dak. Obviously, Dak outside the pocket is not nearly as good as him inside the pocket, where he has great command. He's layering throws, have confidence in those 50-50 balls. But if our offense can win the time of possession, they don't have those kind of opportunities and chances to build up and throw the football like that. So it was a team effort when you're going against a situation like that. And then when they got to the red zone, they were able to isolate on the outside. So they bring the formation in, they have their receivers outside, and now you can isolate. If you have protection, it's going to be a difficult day because Dak has great confidence. Those guys are great route runners. They're competitive on the outside, and that's why they gave them the business today.
But that's why I still come back to the offense.
Yeah.
Because CeeDee Lamb and George Pickens do that to everybody.
Yes.
So you knew coming into the game, it's going to be tough to stop these 2 dudes on the perimeter.
Right.
You knew that.
They're averaging like that.
You know what I'm saying? So our game plan should have been, you know what? The best game plan is to try to keep them off the field. They score. They're going to score against everybody. They're going to get open against everybody. Keep them off the field. A run game would have helped that. Long drives would have helped that. But we came in here like we finna show that we got the better pass game than them.
Right.
It ain't too many teams in the National Football League that got a better passing game than them.
That's right.
I just felt like we had the wrong game plan today, man, and we tried to go blow for blow in the passing game with arguably the best tandem in football right now.
And with a quarterback who's hot. I mean, he just has command.
He's having a good
Get to the line of scrimmage. He can hurry him up if he wants to. He has total control of that offense, and he really displayed it today.
All right, we're going to take a break here. When we come back, Jason Horowitz, the voice of the Raiders, is going to join us to give us his perspective as the Raiders lose this one 33-16 to the Dallas Cowboys on Monday Night Football. Raiders Game Day is brought to you by America First Credit Union, the official credit union of the Las Vegas Raiders. Allegiant, the official airline of the Raiders. Low fares, nonstop flights, only at Allegiant.com. Modelo, a reward for those with a fighting spirit. Modelo, the mark of a fighter. Drink responsibly, imported by Crown Imports, Chicago, Illinois. And by Cox, proud partner of the Las Vegas Raiders. Welcome back. A tough night on Monday Night Football for the Raiders at Allegiant Stadium as they lose 33-16 to the Cowboys. They now are 2-8, and we go out to Allegiant Stadium to welcome in the voice of the Raiders, Jason Horowitz. And just to clarify, Jason, we requested to have you on the show, win or lose. So before you complain about coming on for another loss, we really were hoping
was not going to complain this time.
We were hoping you could talk about.
No, I did get the rallied message that it was win or lose.
Okay,
so I
good.
appreciate
There you go.
That,
glad that you got that. Look, we're sitting up here in the break, and all we keep talking about is the game plan, because it just seems confusing, and throwing the ball 42 times, and Ashton Genty, having 4 carries in the first half. Does it just continue to be kind of the same old story of we're not really sure what's happening?
I think there's a lot of different stories. I don't know that it's the same old story. I think the result is the same, and it's an offense that now through 10 games this year is averaging about 15.5 points a game, which only the Titans are any better or worse than that. So, I think the result is the same. I think how you get to the result is different. And we may come out of this. This might have been a historic night in terms of fewest amount of running plays by running backs in Raiders history. We were kind of looking at that throughout the course of the game. And ultimately, Geno Smith took a knee on the final play. That was the 12th run. His other 3 were scrambles. So you had 8 run plays by Raiders running backs tonight. And that's tough for a team. But in all fairness, guys, I mean, there's Will Putnam is making his first career start anywhere, and he's at center. Jordan Meredith moves over to guard, and they were overwhelmed tonight by the Cowboys front. They really were.
Big dog. First off, man, I like your sweater. Number two, I appreciate
it's too big. I went for it's really soft. Not that you guys could tell, but it's really soft.
It looks swagged out, man. I appreciate you coming on, man, joining the family, man. I just got a question for you. You're the offensive coordinator. What is your game plan going into this Dallas game? How would you call the game, sir?
I mean, I would think that I would run the football more, right? They're giving up 145 or so yards a game on the ground. They're giving up 31 points a game. But in all fairness, again, I said this with Kirk all week long. I think that when the Cowboys season is over, you're going to have their first 9 games of defensive stats and their final 8 games of defensive stats, and they're going to look drastically different. And the reason we think that, Quinnen Williams is a totally different player than what they had next to Kenny Clark before. Now you have those two guys together. Malik Hooker, who is a former Pro Bowl safety, first-round picks, missed the last 5 games.
Overshown.
He was back tonight. Logan Wilson. Yeah, Overshown came. Now, he didn't play a ton. He got hurt too. But Logan Wilson, who was the Bengals captain, right? And maybe he's not as good as – but he was the captain of another team's defense, and he's there too. So I think the Cowboys' defense, and look, the Raiders' offense is not very good right now. We all know that. So I don't know that this is a fair judge, but the Eagles, the Chiefs, the Lions, that's their next 3 games. I think you'll have a better feel for just how to put tonight's Cowboys' defensive performance in perspective the next few weeks.
Yeah, Jay, I hear you. And each week we see inconsistency, offense, defense, special teams. Tonight, defensively, I thought for sure we needed that other edge guy just to kind of show up against Dak. And you've seen this football team play for years and years. When can we expect that other guy to show up on a big night?
Yeah, I don't know what the answer to that is. Charles Snowden played really well in Denver. I think he had 6 tackles and a tackle for loss, and he showed up in a big way against the Broncos on Thursday night, and the defense only gave up 10 points. And again, totally different offense, right? The Broncos were struggling, and the wind was strong, and all of that stuff. There wasn't that other guy tonight, and the interior was struggling, and the linebacking crew was struggling. And I think the other part to all that, EA, and you know this better than anybody, Eric Stokes is having a really good year. Opposite of that has been a major struggle. And, Kayub Lukelly was benched in the fourth quarter. Darian Porter came on because there was all kinds of miscommunication on the back end, and Kirk kept bringing that up during the course of the game. Look at the CeeDee Lamb touchdown. Nobody went with him. Jake Ferguson, you had 3 guys around him on that 4th and 2, I think it was, for a 6-yard score, and nobody went with him. So you had a lot of defensive breakdowns in the communication. And it showed, and Dak Prescott had 4 straight touchdown drives, and he threw passes, touchdowns on all of those.
Look, Jason, you got to go forward here at some point, and you
Sure.
got to try to fix it, right? And so where do you begin as you go back to the facility? Where does it start? Obviously, it'd be nice to have a healthy offensive line, but they don't have that right now. So got to figure out something
They don't have
else.
that.
Yeah, what should they lean on? I mean, we even said, it's a 1-punch in the run game, barely a 1-punch. Should it be more of a 1-2 punch? Raheem Mostert, got a couple carries. It'd be nice to see him maybe mix it up when everybody's focusing on Ashton Genty.
Yeah, I think so. Browns are coming in here, and they have a stout defense. Right? They're a 2-win football team. They are searching for answers the same way we are, and it may be the Shedeur Sanders show. So, it may be a game that gains national interest if Dylan Gabriel's concussion protocol doesn't come back clean and they start Shedeur Sanders. So you may have that storyline coming into Sunday. But from a Raiders offensive perspective, I think the biggest point you just made, Amber, is that the offensive line is not going to be healthy, and that's not going to change, right? Colton Miller, I know Pete was asked about it. Coach Carroll was asked about it this week, and he says he's on track at some point to come back. But you got to think really hard about that. And Jackson Powers-Johnson may not come back. And so you're looking at a combo of Jordan Meredith and Will Putnam. And what does that say about the 2 third-round draft picks that even with the injuries, Caleb Rogers was still inactive tonight. And Charles Grant, who's been active the last few weeks, has not seen a snap. What does that say? Can you get those guys on the field? How do you actually evaluate your third-round picks if they can't be on the field, if they're not on the field? So you've got all of those question marks. And I think with the biggest storylines here for the final 7 games, those are the ones that they're going to have to be at least looking at and try to figure out what they have heading into the offseason. Because, the reality, 7 games is a lot of games. It can't just be that games that look like this for the final 7 games.
All right, well, it would be nice also to, when you're talking about young players you want to evaluate, it'd be nice to see, Dante Thornton and Jack Bash and get them going. There's a long list of draft picks that really aren't getting opportunities right now, and there's a reason for that. But, all right, thanks. You know what, we're going to get you on a winning one. The Browns one is going to be a winning game. We can't wait to talk to you, Jason Horowitz, on a winning one. But
I'll tell you what, why don't we just book it every week from now on?
Oh, man.
That's right.
And,
Let's just book
and then
it.
it's not like let's go.
I'm
a team player. You guys know that.
We appreciate you.
Welcome to the family.
All right, Jason, good stuff. We'll talk to you soon, buddy. Get home
See you guys.
safe. Yep. All right, I know we're waiting for Pete Carroll to take the podium in just a bit, and you have to feel for Pete Carroll. Actually, I'm told he's there right now, so let's go out to the stadium.
This was a rough night, man. We didn't get stuff done the way we wanted to on either side of the ball, and man, we were excited about the chance and wanted to go after these guys and go get them. You saw we were really aggressive throwing the ball in the first half. Got us out of balance run pass-wise, I know that. But we had so many good opportunities, and Geno was able to find his guys on the actions and all that it got us in the red area, and then we didn't function well. And we got sacked a little bit, we got hit a little bit, and didn't work out. I was really disappointed that we didn't stop them more. There was a space in that game. There were 3 or 4 drives in a row, and we couldn't get off the field. And it wasn't all third down stuff. They did a nice job. They have a really good offense, and they do a nice job with it. Obviously, Pickens was really a problem for us. And it wasn't just when he caught it; it was his after catch stuff that really was impressive. That he was able to run through us like that. I'm just surprised that we weren't able, because we knew he was a good player. We went in to defend him. We rolled to him. We covered him. We doubled him a couple times, and he still came through. So he had a heck of a night. And I don't even know Dak's numbers, but he must have had a pretty good night himself. 25-33, so he was on it. So very difficult night for us. Sorry about it. I feel bad.
Pete, you mentioned that the balance got out of whack there a little bit. It was 31 dropbacks in that first half, 3 runs. Is that? I can't imagine that that's something that you like to look at.
Yeah, it wasn't 31 dropbacks. It was a bunch of play action passes, and really, I really wanted to see us do that. There's only one person to look at, me, because I was influenced on the game plan. I loved the way we were chunking them, and we made big plays. But I knew what was happening, and Chip and I knew what was going on, but we were trying to stay with it and to see if we could continue to get the big plays, which we were getting, and then we just stalled in the red zone, and unfortunately, and we got the second drive, I think it was, or maybe it was the first drive. We got sacked a couple times, right off back to back, and it kind of got us out of whack a little bit. But I don't really care about pleasing people with our run-pass mix. I'm trying to move the football, and we wanted to get the ball to Brock a bunch and see what he could do and our other guys, and that kind of worked out. But when you come back to it, we were supposed to be ahead with that approach, and then we're supposed to come back and run the football in the second half and later in the second quarter. But our inability to get in the zone and to stop them, it didn't work out that way. So I'm totally responsible for how that happened.
Pete, just what went into the decision to start Will Penham and Sinham and shift Jordan at right guard?
The competition during the time with this week and what's been happening the last 2 weeks, we've been looking at it. We tried combinations. We looked at all of it and felt like that was the best way we could go. Jordan had a really solid season at guard last year, and he felt really comfortable moving. And so, we tried. We tried Caleb. You guys were following that, and we looked at some different combinations, and this was the best way we thought to do it.
And just a follow-up to that, is this a permanent change to the offense?
We're one day at a time right now on those kinds of choices. We'll come back tomorrow, see the film, see what happened, and look at our options.
The decision not to dress Caleb, are you kind of getting to the point where maybe it's time to go see some of those young players like Caleb?
I think that's your guys' way of thinking. That's not our way of thinking. We're trying to win the games. We're trying to do the best thing and win the games. And I kind of thought that might come up. I don't know how to coach that way.
Pete, when you look at this offense and all the changes that came in the offseason, if there isn't some type of changes, is there a concern that you can send the message that there isn't accountability for the offense and it's being anemic?
I don't have a chance at understanding what that question was. So try it again, please.
Yes, sir. Is there a concern with all the changes that were made to the offense this season to fix how bad it was last year, and it's still struggling, that if you don't make changes to your offense, there's going to be concerns that it's not being held accountable like other areas of the team?
No, I don't. It's the last part of that question that I don't even know how to address. We're gonna take a look at everything we're doing, which is what we do on a week-to-week, day-to-day basis, and we don't know. That's the only way you do it. So, as you're looking at this question to project in the future how we're going to look back at how we didn't get anything done, I really don't have a good answer for you, but. Every step we take, and I took the accountability. This is my football team, and I had a chance to do something on offense in this game, and we went after it. And some of it was promising, and some of it didn't work out in balance-wise. And the score, because we couldn't stop them, it knocked us kind of out of whack a little bit the way we want to go about it. So. That's how it goes, and we're trying to do it right, and we'll keep working at it. There is a lot of guys that did play last year on this team in the offense. It's pretty much the same group up front. With the guys that are banged up, not so. But until this past week, without Colton, we have the guys that we've had, and so we're hoping that they're going to continue to grow and grow together. There's some youth in there and some inexperience that we're dealing with and trying to figure out how to bring our guys along. We would love to see Caleb play, and we would love to see Charles play, but it hasn't happened that way. They've got to show it in practice and show us that they're ready. We're not ignoring it at all. We're paying attention to it, but that's just part of the rigors of a season, and particularly a difficult season. And your questions are warranted, and I have no problem with that. But I don't have answers for all of them.
Pete, I was wondering, just due to like having two starters in your offensive line out with injuries, how much did that impact the decision to be more pass heavy in this game instead of on the run?
I thought we really pass protected really well in the play action game. Look at it. We got 3 sacks on drop back passes. So that was part of, we wanted to make sure that we were taking them into account by using the action passes, okay? And so that's a way to play ball. And it's always part of our football. We just emphasized it more so to try to help them, and so as we look at it, we'll figure it out, when we can, when we can't. I always want to run the football more, but I don't care about when we run the football more. I like to win the games, get ahead, and kill it in the fourth quarter and run it 15 times in the fourth quarter. We haven't had that opportunity because we're not ahead. So, you guys know I've been doing this for a long time, and those thoughts and approaches, that's in the books. We've done it that way for a long time, and we're just not getting the chance because we're not ahead in the game, and we got to get out ahead.
Geno, you guys were moving the ball, especially in that first quarter, in that first half. What were the bog downs that were happening once you guys get into the red zone?
Yeah, I mean, you just got to score touchdowns in the red zone. I mean, it's that simple. They were playing coverage, pretty much playing Tampa 2, just backing up, kind of daring us to run the ball some of those times. And, we took our shots and we didn't convert. And we all got to play better. I got to do better, and got to be better for the guys.
Geno, how did Pete Carroll say he had some influence in the game plan? Him and Chip want to be more pass and play action heavy tonight. Just what was your thoughts on the overall game plan going into this game?
I thought we moved the ball well. I thought we moved the ball up and down the field. I thought we started out pretty good. I think we punted the ball maybe once or twice. I think the only thing that I can say from, obviously I haven't watched the film yet, but we've got to convert in the red zone. I don't know what our third down percentages were, but I felt like we could have done better on third downs as well, keep some drives alive. That's really what I saw. I thought the game plan was fine. I thought the plays were there. Guys were open. We just got to make more plays.
Geno, you referenced them daring you guys to run the ball. In the first half, there was 31 passes, 3 sacks, but 28 passes, and only 3 runs. Do you have the liberty when they're daring you to do that, to check into a run or to audible into a run?
Yeah, I mean, you can check into any play at any time, but would that be the right thing to do? Would you just go off script and just start calling your own plays? I don't think that's the right way to go about it. You know, I think the right thing to do is to do what we practice and what we're coached to do. And like I said, the plays were there. I don't think there was any issue with the play calling. The plays were there. Guys were open. You know, you guys watch the film. I know we got a lot of Monday morning quarterbacks who like to watch film and take screenshots and see where guys are open. So I'm sure you guys will see where the guys were open. For me, again, I just got to play better. And I keep saying this, man. If something don't look right out there, blame it on me, right? If it don't look right, blame it on me. That's all you can do. Blame it on me. If your kids mess up at school, blame it on me. Car break down going to work, blame it on me.
Geno, it's tough on the fly sometimes to implement new offensive linemen, moving players, but how do you feel like that operation went tonight with Will at center and moving Jordan to guard?
Yeah, I thought Will and Jordan did a fine job. I thought they competed their butts off. Again, they were up against a really tough front. I mean, they got great guys on that side of the ball, especially in the interior. But I thought they did a great job at just competing and giving me as much time as they could. A few plays broke down here and there, but for the most part, I was able to set my foot and get the ball off, and that's really all you can ask from the guys. Especially with Will, his first start, and Jordan moving to guard, and we're already down Colton. It's tough. And with offensive linemen, you want continuity. So those guys have just got to keep working, and I'm gonna keep leaning on those guys and keep preaching positivity to those guys. I know the world wants to get so negative, but I'm gonna keep preaching the positivity to those guys because they work hard and they deserve all the great things in the world.
Any other questions, guys?
Geno, this is the second straight game where a ball was tipped and led into the interception. When it happens in that way, how frustrating is that?
It's very frustrating, but it is what it is. And it's an interception at the end of the day. And like I said, I'm never gonna find an excuse. There's been a bunch of tip passes that have gone into the wrong hands, but that's just how football works sometimes. And I don't think that one play was the difference in the game. I think there were a lot more plays that we could have made that would have given us a better shot. But again, anytime you turn the ball over, it's a negative thing, and you don't want it. So put that solely on me. I got to do better. Guy made a play, ball tips up, guy's Johnny on the spot, and I got to find ways to not have a turnover in the game, which I will.
Geno, you said it's on you. You need to execute. You need to do better. But what do you initially assess when you look at the game? What can you do better? What can the team do better to be able to execute, to be able to score in the red zone?
Make the plays when they need to be made. I mean, it's really all it comes down to. It's a tough game. It's the NFL, and there's great guys all over the field. But we know when we get into the red zone, we've got to think 7 points and not 3. And our defense gave us the ball with the short field. We got to capitalize on that. If we want to talk about playing complementary football, when those things happen, we got to score 7 points and reward the defense for doing a great job. But today, we early on we settled for some field goals, and then they scored some touchdowns, and the game kind of got out of hand. But I think if we score touchdowns in those situations, we may look at it different. So for us, we just got to have that mindset and then obviously get it done.
All right. Thanks, guys.
Thank you.
All right, so Geno Smith trying to push forward like the rest of the team, and there's a lot of games to play, and there's a lot of chances to turn this around. And when we come back, we're going to break down where the breakdown was in the secondary. I know EA's looking forward to that.
Not really.
Not looking forward to it, but he'll be good at it. That's coming up next. Nobody's looking forward to seeing that again. That's coming up next here on Raiders. Intermountain Health understands that life can be a challenging game, and mental wellness is vital to our overall health. It takes courage to admit when we're not okay, and even more to reach out. If you or someone you know is struggling or in crisis, call or text 988 or visit strongestplay.com for mental wellness resources. Welcome back to Raiders Game Day. The Raiders lose 33-16 to the Dallas Cowboys. And those 33 points by the Cowboys, well, Dak Prescott continues to have a really great season. He threw 4 touchdowns against the Raiders defense today. And to break down where the breakdown was, let's send it over to JJ and EA.
All right, Amber, this is something that pains me to give JJ the first look at it, the first crack at our breakdown today, because Dak Prescott was doing what he has done almost all season long, having his receivers do a great job.
Yeah. Right here, man. This is CeeDee Lamb. Number one, EA, you help me out with this, because number one, I think Palomou's supposed to carry this right here. You cannot drop CeeDee Lamb in the coverage like that, and you don't even have nobody threatening your area.
Exactly. It looks like coverage 2 down here. So this safety right here, you have to cover that seam, right? Because that corner is on the that corner is playing like cover 2, so he's going to carry. You got to be able to carry that there, and that's a huge mistake. Yeah. Usually, if you have a mental error in the red zone, you have a reaction, and it's called touchdown. Yes. Not good.
And then right here, EA, number one, everybody's backing up. Nobody's plastering to a guy. You got 2 guys. We tried to drop a D tackle. You got 2 guys over there, but they overloaded on this side. We should be pushing this way.
And yes, it's zone, but in the red zone, it's so short, you have to squeeze him into the other zone. You can't just drop him to a zone and say, I'm playing the area. If a guy comes to your zone, you got to attach to him, right? And then the guy's in the end zone. Like, let's not let him catch a touchdown in the end zone if we're too far in the back as far as our zone.
And not only that,
drop.
I'm reacting to our safeties. Our safeties is 5 to 6 yards deep in the end zone. You can't play like that in the red zone.
You can't play like that. The great Charles Woodson told you what catches good in the end zone. None of them. Right? And see here, the corner, he has help by the safety right here. So play that more outside. Like, you want him to run in there because you got your safety sitting in there.
You know
so that's a great opportunity for you. Play it outside, bud, outside.
That's why you in the Hall of Fame.
Man.
Because I'm over here like, you know what, a whip route versus man-to-man is tough on any corner. But if you know you got help in the inside, and if he throws that in the inside, 11's going to pick it.
He's going to pick it off.
And you outside for the pick.
That's to the house.
TBU.
That's to the house.
Oh, my
That's to the house.
And then this is another thing, right? And I don't mind them because you want to challenge people.
Yeah.
But 88 and number 3 is not to be played with in man-to-man coverage.
They some dudes.
I would have loved to see us getting a little bit more zone instead of playing these dudes man-to-man. This is a big end route right here by George Pickens. And then not only that, this is why dudes get drafted, and this is why dudes make a whole lot of money. Because I heard what Pete Carroll said.
Yeah.
But that's a tough tackle in the open field when you got George Pickens coming downhill at you.
So smooth. And again, Dak puts the ball right where it needs to be. Just incredible touch with this football. And you see we have a deep safety here in the middle of the football field, and everyone's trying to man up. And you have this great opportunity to play some man. But again, if you're playing from outside in, it gives you a little more help, right? You can get that inside hand maybe to get a pass breakup. But when you're inside so hard, it really gives you a difficult situation.
Stay in there, though.
Yes.
The inside leverage, stay in there.
Oh,
and let him have to fight with you on that end route. This is just real simple dagger right here. You got a beeline with a big end. You stay inside on that when the play's made. But we got to give credit to the Dallas Cowboys, man, and George Pickens and CeeDee Lamb and Dak Prescott. They went to work today. They got a hold of our secondary, and they played well. Congrats to them, and we'll have to bounce back. Back to you, Amber.
All right, let's give you one big number here, and it is 28. That is the amount of pass plays in the first half alone for the Raiders. They only ran the ball 4 times, and by the way, that was the fewest amount of rushing attempts in a half by the Raiders since 2008, and that continues to be a big storyline here. But we're going to take a break here. Coming up next, we're going to talk to Tre Tucker as we go out to Allegiant Stadium. He had the only touchdown of the game. We're hanging out Tre Tucker next. This segment of Raiders Game Day has been brought to you by Coca-Cola Zero Sugar, the official soft drink of the Las Vegas Raiders. Raiders Game Day has been brought to you by Allegiant, the official airline of the Raiders. Low fares, nonstop flights, only at Allegiant.com. Credit One Bank, the official credit card of the Las Vegas Raiders. Coors Light, choose chill, an official beer of Raider Nation. Celebrate responsibly. 2025 Coors Brewing Company, Golden, Colorado. And by Twitch, watch, discover, join in. I think one of the big things when you look at this game is the imbalance of the run versus the pass. And I know there's no way you guys wanted Geno Smith. It wasn't in the plan to throw the ball 42 times. Is the focus really to going into every game, is the objective to get Ashton Jeanty going and establish the run? And what is just not working?
Yeah, I mean, I think all the really, really good NFL teams, they run the ball really well. So obviously each and every game we're trying to get him going, because when you can run the ball, I think it makes everything easy. You know, I think if a team just goes out there and they expect you to pass it a bunch and, you know, allows them to sit in coverage and not really have to do much. So that's the goal every week, to get him going. He's a really great player. And I think it helps everybody. It helps Geno, helps the receivers, helps the tight ends, helps the line, and it makes those guys, it wears those guys on the opposite side out. So we've got to find a way to get him going early and commit to it and then just keep rolling.
Trey, quick question, because I've been watching you guys since week one. I never see Geno Smith check out of a play or check into a play. If you're going to drop back and throw the ball 42 times a game, does he have the ability to say, hey, man, they playing cover 3, run a hitch? Or is the play call just the play call? Because when I'm watching you guys, I'm like, the play call just looks like the play that's called. What if the defense is correct? I've never seen him, check out of a play. Does he have the ability to do that?
Yeah, I think, whenever we call a play, there's always a secondary to it. We always say we want to be like a play ahead, not a play behind. And sometimes it feels like that. That's just the nature of the game and what the defense is doing, credit to them. But, yeah, there's always an element of a second play on there, whether it's run, pass, pass, whatever it may be. But Geno's got a lot on his plate, and, everybody's got to do a good job of, making his job easier.
Well, Trey, thanks for joining us. I know it's not easy to talk about the game, but, congratulations. You're continuing to have a productive year, and to see you develop as a receiver has been nice to watch this season, and continue doing what you're doing. I know this is going to translate into some wins. Thanks for being here with us.
I appreciate you guys. Thank you.
All right,
Keep your head up.
Head up, big dog. Keep going.
Yep.
Win or lose, always a great time at Allegiant Stadium with the entertainment. Electrifying supergroup The Power of Three performed pre-game at the Modelo tailgate zone.
They were awesome.
Headlined for, that's Orianthe. She's amazing, by the way. And then that's Cindy Blackman Santana. That's Carlos Santana's wife.
Getting it.
Yeah, and world-renowned bassist Rhonda Smith. They were amazing. We were at the stadium listening to them. She was shredding. Look at her. She was shredding out there. I looked up and was like, who's playing that?
She's getting it.
And then the Warren Treaty sang the anthem.
Yeah, they've done it before.
They sounded great. And then salute to service.
Salute.
Colonel Glenn and Colonel Sabin from Nellis Air Force Base. Thank you for your service. And then Nelly, E-I-E-I-O.
Nelly was there?
Nelly was there. We missed him.
Man.
3-time Grammy Award winner did the halftime show. And then there's Taylor Frankie Paul from The Bachelorette.
Did they get
Guess
married
they still think they're on camera at The Bachelorette. And
former
Raiders
There they go.
Chester
There you go.
Hey, he was legit.
There you go.
in the house.
He was a baller.
Looks like he can still play. And
There
Jim
he is.
Plunkett,
Plunkett.
2-time Super Bowl champ and
two-time.
MVP. All right, so the Raiders got to get back on track, guys. Here is the next 3 weeks coming up. They've got the Cleveland Browns. They got a good defense.
They got a great defense.
Offense is not that great. Then they go up against some divisional opponents as the Chargers will come here.
It's a tough stretch.
It is a tough stretch. And
But
then the
next
Broncos.
Whenever you have Miles, Max, him and Max, that's gonna be great.
that
See those
is
two
gonna
guys go at it.
Yeah.
That's gonna be awesome. And then maybe we'll see Prime will be in the building too.
We'll have to catch up with Prime. That's all right.
Yeah, he'll probably come. He'll
Back
probably
in
come
the
in the
day.
building too.
Yeah, Shador Sanders. I want to see him, get a chance to see him play up
Yeah.
close and personal, but I hope the Raiders defense absolutely destroys him. So, no offense, Prime. All right, so the Raiders lose this one 33-16 to the Dallas Cowboys. They are now 2-8 on the season. For James Jones, Eric Allen, I'm Amber Theoharis. We'll see you next time.